All right, excellent. So here we have demonstrated how we can use a schema, a model, right, to retrieve data from the from a database. But ideally, we would like to be able to do that from where? Not from here, right? We would like to be able to do it from perhaps our from our controller, right? And our controller is really using what? It's using a service. Right? So for instance, we would like to replace this function here. Instead of retrieving these find all quizzes, retrieving this array of quizzes over here, we would like from here, right, see if we could communicate with the database. Yes. So for instance, that code that we use here, right, we can move it and say remove it from here, then go back to our service, and we would like to have access to it right here. All right, so let's do that. Now here, notice that we're using Mongoose, to create the schema and whatnot. Right, so we need to load the Mongoose library. So we can say const mongoose. We're going to require and require. We're going to load Mongoose. There it is. Once we have Mongoose, we have created the schema. We've created the model. Here's a find. We don't want to do it here. Instead of doing it here, we would like to be able to replace this find all quizzes. Instead of returning this hard-coded array, what we're going to do is that we're going to comment that out for a second. And instead of doing this, we're going to return whatever this returns. Right? We're going to copy it right here. We're going to do a find quizzes model.find, right? And we're going to return whatever that returns. What is it going to return? A promise, right? It's going to return a promise. That means that whoever's using this better treat it as a promise. Right? So who's using this? The controller's using it. Right, so let's go to the controller. In the controller, let's see, quiz service. Here's a quiz controller. There's our find all quizzes, right? This find all quizzes earlier, right? It was written in with the understanding that this was using synchronous communication, right? The quizzes services, this send here didn't execute until this function executed, right? Meaning you first do the find, and then you retrieve, and then you do the send. Okay. Well, no longer are we using this. This find all quizzes is now asynchronous, right? It's not synchronous. So the way we're going to do this is that we're going to remove this from here. Okay. And then we're going to do the quizzes service that find all quizzes. What does that return? It returns a promise, meaning that we can register for a callback. And here's where all the quizzes are going to come back, right? Here they are. Once we have the quizzes, then we can send those quizzes back to the client, right? Whoever's retrieving this. We can then move this send right here. And then send back all the quizzes back to whoever invoked API quizzes. So let's try this, right? So let's restart the server. I'm going to stop it. I'm going to restart it. Okay. And we're going to try and hit that all quizzes. Let's go localhost 3000 API quizzes. There we have it. Notice that these are indeed the quizzes that we had earlier with the averages going from 75 all the way to 95. Okay.